We'll be doing changes around us. Every day, what changes we see, we'll discuss it. Changes we see around us. General common things which we see every day. What are those? Day turning into night, season changing from winter to summer, melting of ice to water, cooking of food, etc. Isn't it? Changes take place all around all the time. There are two types of changes, that is reversible and irreversible. Change is not always a good thing, understand? It may force us to be tired habits and impose better ones upon us, but it can be stressful, costly, and even destructive. What's important about change is how we anticipate it and react to it. Illness, injury, or developing a long term medical condition, a job loss, as we are seeing now in COVID conditions, isn't it? Or a new job, a relationship, a breakup, a change in family makeup. For example, a small boy, slowly he is becoming a man, or separation of parents. A list of changes which we see in our daily day life is: child becomes a man, plant becomes seed, plant becomes tree, seed becomes a plant, burning of paper, and our shoes which we wear every day becomes old. Uniform becomes old, isn't it? Pencils become short. It is a change. We go on shopping, we go on using it. Boiling of water into, for examples, what all things we see: rusting of iron to decay changes. Many changes are taken place around us on their own. Example, we don't even know, we don't even notice what happens. Flower blooms and then wither away, then it falls down. Leaves are green, they become yellow and fall down. We can also bring a change. Example, the change in the size of the balloon by blowing air in it. We are making that change, isn't it? What are the examples of physical changes you see every day around us? An ice cube melting into water in your drink, freezing water to make ice cubes, boiling water evaporating it, hot shower water during the turning to steam, steam from the understood steam forming the shower condensing on a mirror. Now what we see important is a conversion of milk into curd. Today's topic. Even your mothers and your elder sisters, maybe they know it. Why? How can we form a milk into curd, children? By the process of fermentation. Listen carefully, 6th class children. This is an important question answer for it, for the exam point of view. Milk consists of globular proteins called casein. The curd forms because of chemical reaction between lactic acid bacteria. The casein in the milk. Changing of milk is not a reversible change. When the milk changes into curd, the molecules of the milk undergo change resulting in the formation of curd. Got it? Setting of curd is a chemical change because a new substance, lactic acid, is formed. Curd is formed has a different taste that of the original substance. Also, once curd is formed, milk cannot be reobtained form. So it is irreversible. Like when curd is formed, if we keep in the fridge or if we keep it outside the fridge, what it will not come back to its milk form. So it is irreversible change. Making of curd from the milk is a chemical change. The bacteria lactobacillus, when added to milk, converts it into curd. The bacteria break down the lactose in the milk to lactic acid. A small quantity of curd is added to the warm milk. Milk is stirred and is set aside disturbed for a few hours at a warm place. Curd is transformed from milk and cannot be changed into milk again. So it is irreversible process. So this is an irreversible and which cannot be reversed change. Understood, children? What is reversible changes, ma? Where a change is made physically and can be undone or reversed. For example what? Freezing of water to make ice. What is irreversible change? Where the change is made chemically and can't be reversed into its original states. Example what? Baking cake. Though there is not much difference between milk and curd's nutrition value, curd still has an edge over milk. With its unique properties of keeping gut healthy, curd is good for health and preventing infections. Curd is also easier to digest as compared to milk. Always use full fat milk or whole milk only, as diluted milk or low fat milk will not set your dahi well. Make understood and makes it watery with more whey. The American Dietitian Association believes that curd works as an excellent fat burner. According to various researchers, dahi helps in losing weight due to high amount of calcium present in it. Being a very rich source of calcium, curd helps in keeping BMI at healthy levels and the body weight in the check. Milk and curd has two animal protein sources and thus should not be consumed together. Consuming these two things together can lead to diarrhea. It's not good, milk and curd together. It leads to diarrhea, acidity, and gas. Eating curd every day will help you in reducing cholesterol levels, thus lowers the risk of high blood pressure and hypertension. It helps in keeping the level of cholesterol balanced and the curd is good at heart. Now see the pictures of curd and how we make curd at home. Okay, warm milk is there as a starter. A little, just a small, tiny teaspoon of curd is added to warm milk and closed undisturbed for 8 to 10 hours. We add a small amount of curd to mild warm milk to set curd. The curd is added as culture or seed which already contains lactobacillus bacteria that multiply to turn milk into curd. We warm the milk to provide optimum temperature for bacteria to grow and multiply. The milk turns acidic due to presence of acid. Got it, children? Having an airtight lid to close it once the milk has cooled down helps the setting process of the curd. Now next topic for today is the changing seasons. Many places on earth have regular changes in the weather throughout the year. We call these the seasons. Direct sunlight is warmer than sunlight hitting the earth at an angle. The other factor is length of the day, how long the sun shines on an area each day. The change from winter to spring. Understood? Now it is so cold, isn't it? It is winter. And spring to summer, etc. I enjoy the changes of seasons every year. Earth has seasons because its axis is tilted. Earth's axis is always pointed in same direction, so different parts of the earth get the sun's direct rays throughout the year. For example, in summer the sun rays hit that region more directly than at any other point of the year. The seasons are defined as spring are, which are the seasons March, April and May. Got it, children? And summer is June, July, August. Whereas autumn, September, October and November. And winter, which is going on now. Winter is December, February. This is not the only biological process that seems to vary with the seasons. Scientists have shown that mood can change with the seasons as well as metabolism. It's easier to gain weight in winter, it's common. The activity of human genes also change with the seasons, and so can the immunity system activity. Understood? The season C, summer, winter, rainy, autumn. Now we'll conclude our lesson with a homework which you all have to submit me by 5 in the evening. What are the simple changes we see around us? Second one, what are the easy steps followed to make dahi at home? Got it, children? Thank you. See you in next class. Assalamu alaikum. Stay home, stay safe. Bye. We'll start with our second part of the lesson, changes around us. We started with the milk turning to curd. The the Earth's axis also defines the length of daylight. Daylight hours are shortest in each hemisphere's winter. Got it? Now see, the day is finishing by 5:30 for us also, isn't it? In winter it is so cool. isn't it? The evening comes very fast and day becomes very short. Between summer and winter solstice, the number of daylight hours decrease and the rate of decrease is larger than is larger the higher the altitude latitude. The fewer sunlight hours, the colder the nights. Why does Earth's day length change during the year? Every location on Earth experiences an average of 12 hours of light per day, but the actual number of hours of daylight on any particular day of the year varies from place to place. Earth rotates on its axis. This causes us to experience day and night. On the evening of Monday, 21st December 2020, recently 3 days, 4 days back, the exact date of December solstice, the two gas giants will align from one point of view on Earth and appear to be just zero point 0.1 degrees from each other. In 2020, the summer solstice took place on 20th June. Got it at GMT or UTC standard time. The days get shorter in northern hemisphere and the days and nights are equal length at the equinox. After the equinox, the sun's position moves south of the equator and days in the northern hemisphere get shorter than the nights. The shortest day is at the December solstice. As the Earth moves in its orbit, the tilt of North Pole changes when it is tilted towards the sun. It is tilted away from the sun. It is winter in northern hemisphere. In between, we have autumn and spring, the four seasons. The autumn and spring, winter, and summer are the four seasons. Right, children? The day that the Earth's North Pole is tilted closest to the sun is called a summer solstice. It is summer season, hot season. As a calendarical period, the month is derived from the lunation, that is, the time elapsing between successive new moons or other phases of moon. A total of 12 lunation amounts to 354 days and is roughly a year. Each day, the rising and setting points change slightly. At the summer solstice, the sun rises as far to the northeast as it ever does and sets as far to the northwest. Every day after that, sun rises a tiny bit further south. At the fall equinox, the sun rises due east and sets due west. Or the moment, let us think about one motion. Earth's spin or rotation on its axis. Earth rotates or spins towards the east and that's why the sun, moon, planets and stars all rise in the east and make their way westward across the sun. But it appears to rise and set because of Earth's rotation on its axis. It makes one complete turn every 24 hours. It turns toward the east. As the Earth rotates towards the east, it looks like the sun is moving west. So during summer solstice, it is in the southeastern part, and in winter solstice, it is the northeastern part. However, there are 2 days, that is March 21st and September 23rd, when the sun rises exactly in the east. Similarly, in winter, what happens? The angle of sun drops lower, casting less concentration heat and longer shadows. Just as the sun's proximity to Earth directly affects the surface temperature, the angle of sun also dictates the length of the shadow. Because the sun is more directly overhead, the shadows are smaller in summer than in the winter. In winter, what happens? The northern part of the earth is tilted away from the sun. That means the sunlight is not coming in as directly. So, shadow during the winters are longer. The tilt of Earth's axis affects the length of our shadows. During the summer, our location is tilted towards the sun, so our midday shadows are very short. During the winter, our location is tilted away from the sun, so our midday. In regions away from the equator, shadows are shorter during summer and longer during winter. This is because the sun is low in the sky in the winter and high overhead in the summer. The length of a shadow depends on the position of the sun. Overview by measuring the shadows from the fall through spring, students discover that shadows become longer as fall season progresses. Shadows are their longest on the winter solstice. Shadows become shorter as spring approaches. And students can predict that shadows reach their greatest height on summers. Got it? In summer season, the shadows are highest. This was an experiment done by the students. The position of the sun affects the size of the shadow. A person or object blocks more light when the sun is low in sky. More blocked light makes shadow longer. Understood? This makes the short shadows shorter. Technically, like any non-transparent object, the sun would cast a shadow on another object. So theoretically, it does cast a shadow. Practically, it would only do so if a brighter star or other source of light were to appear or move near it. Got it, children? As the seasons change, so do our shadows. Because of winter itself, or rather, the earth's position related to the sun changing as we all the sun rises during spring and summer months in our sky means that heat, because the sun is more directly overhead, shadows are smaller in the summers than in the winters. In winters, the northern part of earth is tilted away from the sun. That means the sunlight is not coming in as directly, so shadows during the winter are longer. The noon on a summer day, the sun's highest position, casts almost no shadows. Similarly, in winters, the angle of the sun drops lower, casting less concentrated heat and longer shadows. Each day at the same time, go to that object and measure the length of its shadow. Shadows change with the season. The tilt of the Earth's axis affects the length of our shadows. During the summer, our location is tilted towards the sun, so our midday shadows were very short. During the winter, our location is tilted away from the sun, so our midday shadows are longer. During summer, the North Pole is tilted towards the sun. As a consequence, the sun's path is higher in the sky, causing the northern hemisphere to receive more sun, more light and heat. Now the sun's path is lower in the sky, causing the northern hemisphere to receive less light and heat. This makes the days shorter and colder. In regions away from equator, shadows are shorter during summer and longer during winter. This is because the sun is low in the sky in the winter and high overhead in summer. The length of a shadow depends on the position of the sun. The position of the sun affects the size of a shadow. A person or object blocks more light when the sun is low in the sky. More blocked light makes shadow longer. This makes shadows shorter. Shadows are longest in the early morning and late afternoon or early evening when the sun appears in the sky. What happens in winter season? Shadows are longest just before sunset. It doesn't matter the season. Now if you are talking about like at high noon, then it is the winter. This is because the sun is at lower angle in the sky and thus casts a longer shadow. Shadows are longer in the morning and evening and short in the noon. Because the sun rays are slanting in the morning and evening, whereas at noon it is just above our head. The size of the shadow depends on the position of the object from the source of light. Shadows change length during the day because as the earth rotates on its axis, the angle between the sun and any given point on the earth changes. These seasons are spring, summer, autumn, winter, and then your second spring. The December winter solstice is the shortest day in the northern hemisphere but is the longest day in the southern hemisphere. Easterling is a scientist, what he said. And similarly, the June the summer solstice is the longest day in the northern hemisphere and shortest in the southern. What happens in June month? The summer solstice for the northern hemisphere occurs within a few days of June 21st every year. It is on this day that the position of the sun in the sky at noon is at the highest altitude of the year, and the position of the sun at sunrise early morning and sunset evening is the farthest north for the year. Got it? Shadows are made by blocking light. Light rays travel from a source in straight lines. If an opaque or solid object gets in the way, it stops the light rays from traveling through it. This results in an area of darkness appearing behind the object. Winter shadows are long because sunlight is spread out. Summer shadows are short because the light is concentrated in one small area. The noon sun appears high in the sky. Got it, children? Like all worlds orbits a sun. Earth casts a shadow. You might not realize it, but from Earth's surface you can see the shadow. In fact, it's easy to see, and you have probably already seen it many times as days changes to night. That's because night itself is a shadow. We'll finish the lesson for today with our homework. First question: when is shadow longest? Second one: when is the longest day? Thank you, children. See you in next class. Assalamu alaikum. Send me the homeworks by 5 o'clock. See you. Bye. Yes, 6th class children, we are doing changes around us, the last part of this lesson, part 3. How do we categorize the changes around us? The changes taking place around us can be classified as slow and fast changes, useful and harmful changes. Next is natural and man-made changes, periodic and non-periodic changes, reversible and irreversible changes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 types of changes are there. Controlled and uncontrolled changes, 6 types of changes are there. Change happens when culture changes through the dissemination of new ideas. One good idea has the potential to change the world. As individuals adopt these ideas, they participate in the creation of change and experience personal growth as well. Progress depends on how effectively we work to change people's thinking. Understood? Next is the indicators for change. Indicators of change are used to track the extent to which an intervention is producing the changes anticipated in the results chain. At least one relevant indicator needs to be defined for each level of the chain, that is for outputs, intermediate outputs and impacts. Indicators are the substances whose solutions change the color due to the change in the pH. The pH value is 7. more than 7 or less than 7. It is acidic and basic. These are called acid base indicators. Clear, children? They are usually weak acidic or bases, but their conjugate base or acid forms have different colors due to the differences in their absorption spectra. The color change of a pH indicator is caused by dissociation of the H plus ion, hydrogen ion, from the indicator itself. Recall the pH indicators, which are not only natural dyes but also weak acids. The dissociation of the weak acid indicator causes a solution to change the color. Acid base indicators, also known as the pH indicators, are the substances which change color with the pH. They are usually weak acids or bases, which when dissolved in water dissociate slightly and form ions. At low pH values, the concentration of H3 plus H3O plus ion is high, and so the equilibrium position lies to the left of it. Water can be converted. The changes is in everyday day to day activity. What we see is water can be converted back into ice simply by freezing. Hence, melting of ice is a physical change. Conversion of milk to curd is a chemical change, as the reaction is irreversible and the curd formed once cannot be converted to milk again. So it is irreversible. Got it? This term irreversible means what? Like other multicellular organisms, plants grow through a combination of cell growth and cell division. Cell growth increases the cell size, while cell division mitosis increases the number of cells. As in plant cells grow, understood? The plant cell grows, they also become specialized into different cell types through cellular differentiation. Now, next we see what are the 4 steps of hard boiled eggs every day. Not every day exactly, but day to day. How do you boil the eggs in the home? At least you all have seen now, all are at home, isn't it? You all are going in kitchen, helping a little. Some are helping little bit. Some are girls are helping a lot, isn't it? Few things you all have. I hope you all have studied, isn't it? Learned till now making tea, boiling eggs. How we boil egg? It is given here. Place eggs in a saucepan or pot. Cover with cold water. Put water. It should be dipped completely in the water. Eggs first, then water. Put pan on high heat and bring water to a rolling boil. It should boil. Remove the pan from the heat and cover. Let the eggs stand in hot water for 14 to 17 minutes. At least 10 to 15 minutes. Got it? Then it gets boiled. Drain the eggs and put it in a bowl filled with cold water, ice water. Understood? If the bulb flickers, now when how the bulb is on and off, that is also a natural change. If the bulb flickers on and off, it usually means that the switch contacts are getting bad. By far the most common problem is a loose wire. Most of the time it is loose connection, loose wire we tell, isn't it? Loose wire connection at the switch itself. Even a mobile, smartphones, everyone have, no? The chargers and all. There's loose in connection, which is subject to constant on or off usage. Less commonly, a light bulb socket may go bad. If so, you will need to replace the socket, isn't it? The socket, if you replace it, is okay, or sometimes it's not good. By a loose connection, it can spark, take a shock, give it an electric shock. The falling effect of touch me not plant is caused by a change in turgidity of the leaflets brought about by the movement of water into and out of the parenchymatous cells of the pulvinous or swollen leaf base. Understood? According to touch me not plants, what happens? Natural changes are the changes which happen mainly due to the natural factors, with human beings having no control over it. Some of the examples of natural changes are natural calamities. Another major example of natural calamities is which is control of control. Next is the man and the seasonal changes, and examples of man-made changes are burning of fuel and chemical reactions. The changes which are brought about by human beings are called man-made changes. These are change of season, tides in the sea, got it, aging of plants, etc. The changes happening over a long period of time are considered as slow changes. Next we'll see slow changes and fast changes. First was reversible, irreversible about the milk to curd. Got it, children? Next was natural change, man-made change, bulb and touch me not plants. Next is slow change, aging of plants, tides in the sea, example rusting of iron. The changes that occur within a short time frame are considered as fast changes. Rusting of iron is an example of slow change, where new substance, iron oxide, is formed. Another example of slow change is the rotation of the earth, isn't it? Which causes day to night. Every day we see it slowly, day finishes and night comes. It is considered a slow natural change as it is occurring naturally. What is the answer? Temporary changes are the changes which are there only for short period of time, temporary small period of time. Generally what happens? Temporary changes are reversible, and permanent changes are the changes which remain for a longer time and are not permanent change and temporary change. We'll see in this diagrams, children. Temporary change, reversible change, no new substance forms, material can retain its original form. Understood? Ice cream, cooling, when you heat it or keep it outside, it becomes watery. The change in the state takes place. The state of matter, solid, liquid and gas, we are studying from 3rd, 4th standard, isn't it? In this, what is permanent and temporary change we have to see. Examples of permanent change is a tree which is grown, it can't get back into baby shape, isn't it? Baby plant, it cannot become again. Temporary change, that is permanent, always it remaining. Temporary for some time is a change for a limited time. Permanent, temporary changes. Next is physical and chemical changes. Wet sand changes into example student, permanent change or temporary change. If you change the peaches, it becomes pie change. Can it change it? Can we change it back to a fruit? No. So it is permanent change. Reversible and irreversible. Just we saw water in the bottle. We keep it in the freezer. It becomes ice. We keep it outside. Then again it becomes heating, it melts and becomes water back. This is just reversible change. Irreversible change was, dear, which one? The milk changes into curd and it doesn't go back again to milk form. So it is irreversible change. Is it clear, children? What are the physical changes? We'll see in this diagram one by one. Crushing a can, melting an ice cube, boiling water, mixing sand with water, breaking the glass, got it? Dissolving the sugar in water and shredding paper with chopping wood, mixing green and red marbles are the physical changes. Sublimation of with our homework. First question is, what is the importance of pH value? Second one, explain reversible changes with example. Third one, what are the fast and slow changes? Okay.